Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Chuy and welcome back to Boss Labs. And today I'm gonna be talking about these guys right here. These are the Apple Airpods Max. And they are the first over-ear headphones that Apple has come out with. Yeah, I purchased them about a week and a half ago. They showed up 5 days ago. And I've been using them every day ever since. And just kind of forming an opinion about it, right? I've had a lot of people, friends, people on social media that saw me post this on my stories, just asking, how do they sound? Are they any good? Are they worth the price tag? And hopefully this video will help you or anybody watching make a better decision on whether or not to purchase these for yourself. And I just want to talk about my personal experience with them, how I use them, and how I kind of see them fitting in someone's world, I guess their ecosystem if they have other Apple products. But yeah, these headphones are not cheap. They're $550, but realistically speaking, they are $600 headphones. After you pay for them, you pay taxes, you do shipping, or you get free shipping from Apple, it doesn't matter. You're spending close to $600 US on this pair of headphones. So that's not cheap considering that my last pair of noise canceling Bose headphones were like $300, $350. But now that you've gotten that out of the way, if you're still kind of on the fence, you don't know, then you've already processed the fact that this is gonna cost you $600, right? So let's talk about the actual product itself and let's get over some of the quick stuff that I think everyone else on YouTube has already covered. And they are beautiful headphones in my opinion. They are built very well, they feel nice and sturdy, and they have some heft to them. They definitely are heavy, but that's because they're using a lot of metal in them, and that brings on the weight. But they look great, they're designed great, and they have a really nice feel to them, and they fit very nicely on my head, and they're very comfortable. So the features that come with this headphones that aren't technically special to any sort of Apple headphone is they have noise cancellation. And it's the best noise cancellation I've ever used. I've used it on my AirPods Pro and on the older Bose headphones that I have, the Quiet Comfort headphones that I've had for the last 3 years or so. So these definitely beat out both of those. And more so than the noise cancellation, I want to talk about the pass-through mode, which is the other mode that the headphones have. The AirPods Pro also have them, which is basically where it uses the mics on the headphones to pass some of the audio back into your ears for your environment. I use this when I'm on my one wheel or when I'm driving my electric scooter or even my Vespa underneath my helmet. So I can hear the environment around me. I can hear car honks, people, pedestrians, all that kind of stuff to kind of get more immersed and not just get, blown out by the music going into my ears. And I will say that the pass-through mode on the AirPods Max is just so much better than the ones on the AirPods Pro. The AirPods Pro sound great, it just feels like everything else gets boosted a lot. So if I'm talking to someone, I can maybe talk to them for 30 seconds, a minute before I end up taking them off and just putting them in my pocket and having a conversation with them. Whereas with the AirPods Max, I can have a full-on 20-minute conversation with you, and they sound more real, they sound more organic, more true to life than the AirPods Pro pass-through mode. And I will say that I love turning it on and off with the simple press of a button. I thought it was kind of weird to just have a button just for that function, but the more I use it, the more I really appreciate just the fact that it's that simple to switch between the modes. So as you can see, I'm editing the video back there, but I forgot to talk about one very important thing, and that is the carrying case, or the case that comes with these headphones. I don't love the design, and it's just kind of a weird looking case. There's been a bunch of memes about it all over the internet. It works fine. There's nothing necessarily anything wrong with it. It protects the side of the cups, the big parts, so I guess it'll help if it's scratching and stuff like that. But the main issue I had with it was I didn't know, at least we didn't know until yesterday or 2 days ago, that the low power setting that it goes into when you put them in this case, it goes into that same mode after you leave the headphones out without being touched or used or moved for 5 minutes. You really only start seeing a big difference afterwards if you don't use them for longer than a day or two. So if they're in the case, they go into a super ultra low power mode in 18 hours, and outside of the case, it takes 72 hours. But the way I've been using these headphones, they don't go 18 hours without being used. I basically use them all day, leave them on my desk, not inside the case. And then as the day ends, or I know I'm not gonna be using them anymore, take them, put them in the case, leave them there until I use them again. So not that big of a deal for me. It is nice though. I live in New York and I usually travel with a backpack. So these kind of just get thrown in my backpack when I'm not using them. And having something wrapping around the main part of the headphone is nice, but don't love the design. But honestly, it bothers me a lot less than I thought it would when I initially saw it. Yeah, so that is the AirPods Max case. So moving on to the actual main thing that I want to talk about in this video, and that is the tiers level of the Apple use in your daily life. And what I mean by that is, if you are a mobile device user of Apple's, so what I mean by that is, if you have their iPhone or their iPad, their Apple Watch, that's tier 1. That's the mobile use. That's the kind of more up close and personal device that I think a lot of people will have and use with these headphones because of one thing, and that's spatial audio. Spatial audio is this thing that Apple brought out with the AirPods Pro a few months ago, where it kind of creates this simulation of a surround sound in your ears with just your headphones. And I was very impressed with it. On the AirPods Pro, it's kind of cool because you could tilt your head and it sounds like the audio is still coming from the same location. And it's really cool, and it's just kind of provided a more immersive experience depending on the content being mastered in a certain, surround sound or Dolby Atmos kind of processing, kind of mastering for the audio. But on the AirPods Max, I was testing it out on my iPad, watching Avengers, and that's where I really kind of was grabbed by the spatial audio, because the sound quality on these headphones is fantastic. And turning on and off spatial audio was night and day with the AirPods Max. It was giving me as close to a theater experience in my ears while having a small device like my iPad in front of me watching the content. And I got super immersed and was just smiling inside and out, kind of feeling this raw kind of power of audio just in my ears through the headphones. And to me, that was very surprising. And that's when I realized, wow, this is kind of amazing. It sounds good on the AirPods Pro, but with the audio quality and the sound of the AirPods Max, it's just night and day. It's something that I can recommend to someone who watches content on their phone or on their iPad constantly. So for me, that tier is kind of like, if you're thinking about buying these headphones and that's how you ingest some of your content, some of your movies that support this kind of audio, go for it, because you'll be getting great music quality through your streaming services. You'll be able to use it for phone calls and Zoom calls, things like that. But you'll also be enjoying content in a different way that's way more immersive and just sounds fantastic. So let's move on to tier 2. Tier 2 is basically just Apple TV users. I currently have 2 HomePods in my apartment connected to my Apple TV, and that's fantastic. But sometimes you don't want to be blasting your movies or your shows in your apartment. Maybe you live with someone who's trying to get some sleep. Maybe you have neighbors. We live in New York, right? So a lot of our apartments are close to other people. So yeah, if you're watching something at night or just want to get more immersed, it's just going to be a completely different experience. Now, the last tier is your Mac user. So MacBook, desktop, whatever kind of computer system you're using. If you're using a MacBook, these headphones definitely do connect to those very easily. You can switch between them like you do with your iPad or your iPhone. But as far as I know, currently, there's no support for the spatial audio stuff that the other devices are currently doing. So you're basically just connecting to them for your Zoom calls or listening to music. And I'm a video editor as well as a video shooter, so I sometimes use headphones to edit. Most of the time, if I'm doing most of my, my cutting, interview cuts, I tend to use speakers. But once I'm getting into the nitty-gritty of it, I do put on a pair of headphones. And with these, I noticed ever so slightly a little bit of lag, a tiny bit of latency. So if you're cutting something where you have to cut to the music, like I did in a video from months ago, maybe plug in regular headphones or plug these in via the cable that you have to buy. But definitely everything else, cutting interviews, basic cutting, nothing that got in the way. You can use these to do that. But I don't really see that as a selling point. There's a lot of other Bluetooth headphones that can do that for you, that can be your computer microphone, speaker for calls, for entertainment, things like that. So if you're only using Mac computers, but you have other devices for your cell phones, your tablets, for your streaming to your TV, stuff like that, I can't really say that you need to get these headphones if you're on the fence about getting them or not. But if you're in the first 2 tiers, or in the first tier really, or all 3, I definitely recommend these headphones. I definitely think that you won't feel any sort of buyer's remorse or regret the purchase because you'll be using everything that these headphones were built for, right? Ingesting audio, ingesting media, having a more immersive experience when watching some of your favorite movies, and just kind of overall being comfortable while wearing headphones and knowing that what you have with you works with all your other devices, right? The ecosystem. Say what you will, I am definitely a fanboy because since I bought my first MacBook in 2011, everything slowly has been building up to buying more things because they all work with each other, right? My HomePod's at home, my HomePod's here at the studio. I have a regular HomePod and a HomePod mini on the desk over here, to my MacBook Pro, my iMac, my Apple TV 4K, my Apple Watch. I have a Series 4 that connects to these headphones, and you know, it all just works. And I can't recommend it enough if you're kind of like me, where you've just invested time, money, because some of the stuff's not cheap, into this world, into this ecosystem. And it fits perfectly. It fits just the way that my AirPods Pro did, but just with higher quality audio, better sounding drivers, and everything that comes along with an over-ear headphone. So yeah, that's basically it for the video. One thing I will add on top of that is the AirPods Pro. Not to say that if you're on the fence between AirPods Max and AirPods Pro to get these, but I think everyone, if you use an iPhone, if you just have an iPhone, I think everyone should have a pair of AirPods Pro because I use these every day. They're part of my everyday carry. And I don't mean in a bag, I don't mean what's in my bag, I mean on my person. I have my iPhone, my wallet, my AirPods Pro, my keys, and my Apple Watch. That's what you'll find on me every day. And regardless of whether I'm walking out with the AirPods Max to run errands or not, these are in my pocket regardless, because you never know when you can use these. You never know when you're gonna need these. And I use these for riding when I'm wearing a helmet or something like that. So anyways, a little add-on, if I had to pick one between AirPods Pro and AirPods Max, I would pick these first because these sound so much better, but these are tiny and they fit other parts of life where these may not. And if you can have both, have both. But yeah, those are my opinions for today. I hope this video helped out anybody who was kind of on the fence about maybe purchasing a pair of these headphones. They're not cheap, but they sound great. They work great with everything else that this company makes. So yeah, if you have any comments or questions, leave that down in the section below. Give us a like if you liked the video. And if you just want to say hi, you know? So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. And thank you again for watching.